It's a very good question. We probably took a bit of a risk by self-producing the record, but yeah, I think we managed to just about avoid disappearing up our own arses.
I think we completely, somehow, I don't really know why, but we didn't feel any pressure on this album at all. I think we did with the second album. I think it would be fair to say we did. But for some, I think because, you know, we came a little close to the edge while we were touring the second album, and, you know, had a little bit of a dark time. I think it made us much more philosophical about the whole thing and made us realise that what we actually care about is the music, and just, I don't know, I think we felt so excited and energised going into the making of this record that all we really cared about was making something amazing and having fun while we were doing it. And, you know, actually, it's easy to say that, but to actually do it is difficult, I think. And I'm really proud that we did. We just had a great time. I think each album you make is always going to reflect where you are at the time. I feel without a shadow of a doubt that this is our best record by a long way, but, you know, who knows? I hope that we'll get better every time. I think what I always find depressing is when I remember reading an interview with Bob Dylan where he was saying, you know, I just can't write songs anymore like I did back in the 60s or whatever it was, and you know, I thought that was a pretty brave thing to say, actually, but it's kind of, you so often get the sense with artists that they must know in their heart of hearts that, you know, the best album they made was, you know, was quite a few albums back, or, you know, it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago or whatever, and it must get quite scary when you reach the point where you realise that you're just not writing as good songs, or you don't have the same creative drive, or you're not sort of breaking new ground or whatever. But at the moment it feels like we're more kind of creatively excited than we ever have been as a band, and you can definitely feel that in the music. So I hope that you know, trajectory continues creatively. Exactly. We may just have peaked.
We allowed Victoria's Secret to use one of our songs in an advert without insisting that we were at the casting and the filming, and I wish we'd insisted on being there.
Big mistake.
Just for sort of artistic direction. Yeah.
I remember when I was very young, I don't know why I thought of this. Well, I remember going into our local newsagents because I wanted to buy a porn mag, and I must have been about, I don't know how old I would have been, 11 or something. And
we live in a very small town.
Yeah, and this would have been the same newsagents that I would have gone into every day for my entire life, and I thought they wouldn't recognise me because I put on a hat and some sunglasses, and strangely enough, I got busted, and the guy who'd been selling me Panini football stickers every day for my whole life wasn't fooled by my disguise, and it was very, very embarrassing. Oh, so many.
I'd like to have sex. Play an instrument.
Play an instrument.
Play an instrument.
Yeah.
Learn an
or
instrument.
Drums.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
mental.
yeah. Or you could fuck off.
Yeah, I think it's such a great form of escape, and it is so easy. If we can do it, then anyone can do it, basically.
There are these books. It's easy to play Roy Orbison or Paul Simon or the Beatles or whatever. There's this whole series of books, and I remember, like, Tim had the Paul Simon one when, you know, we were about 10 or probably younger, and we'd just sit around and it just tells you the letter of the note that the chord is based on. So it's like, this chord is an E, and it's really easy to get the hang of it on a piano, and suddenly you're playing Paul Simon songs, some of the greatest songs ever written, or Roy Orbison songs, or Beatles songs, and it's really easy, and it's really good fun. So get a piano and one of those books, it'd be great fun.
Phantom Menace. That's like one of the great tragedies of our generation, isn't it?
Our new album.
I sometimes, sorry, carry on.
I was going to say having sex again. But, anyway.
This guy's got sex on the brain. Unlike me. I'm zen, as Colin would say.
Yeah. What would you rather be doing?
Well, I keep thinking, we're very, very proud of this record and very excited to be getting it out there, but I did feel a real pang of sadness when we finished making it, because we have had such an amazing time recording this record. Like I said, it's basically been the best time we've ever had as a band, and also, I loved Berlin and loved being there and just hanging out, and we just had the music side of it was brilliant, and the social side of it was brilliant as well, and it's just a great city to be in. And there was a big part of me that wanted to just, once we'd finished this record and put it to bed, I almost just wanted to go back and start on another one. Yeah. But, you can't have it all.